Hi everybody, welcome back to the Grey Zone. My name is Coty and let's talk about the secret society of second-born royals. And if you see my naked face, I'm going to do my makeup. Okay, so I've seen the movie twice and I kind of, and I really like it. And I really do like it. The secret society of second-born royals is about this princess named Samantha. We first see Princess Sam. She's a teenager and she's very rebellious. You have to remember that. She's very rebellious. She hates the monarchy, which is something that caught me off guard at first. And her best friend at the beginning of the movie is Mike. He is the gardener's son. So we come to find out that she does not like the monarchy because she believes that the people should have their own choice because their kingdom is an absolute, they have an absolute monarchy. And I actually googled it to find out if there were any left, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think there were like 6 absolute monarchies that I could find on the internet, one of them being the Vatican. And the other 3 were, it was the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and 2 other kingdoms whose king is a sultan. So that's what I found out in 2020 at least. So Sam believes that the people should have their own, they should have their own voice, and so she starts playing with her friend and I think it was a park or something, and to her surprise she started hearing the police sirens, and she tells her friend that she tells Mike to leave and that she will distract them and that he gets the gear. Come to find out that she doesn't get along with her mom because her mom is trying to do the best for the kingdom. However, she wants the monarchy to end. She's always late, so she doesn't really get along with her mom or her sister for that matter, because her sister tries to be civil and tries to be like the buffer between her mom and her. However, Sam is just too rebellious for all of that. And sneaking out, one time she sneaks out of a party. Her and Mike were trying to go to a club to watch this band, and they find out that they start carding people. They start carding people at the entrance, and since they're minors, they can't go in. She actually is able to look at a keypad to enter the club from across the street, and that was kind of weird for her and Mike. But whatever, they go in, they have fun, and between a set, she starts hearing the flap of a fly. She starts hearing her own heartbeat. She gets overpowered by her senses. So she pulls the fire alarm, and her mom and the police get her. And then in the police station, her mom appears and she's super pissed off. So she sends her. She was supposed to take an exam. I forgot about that. She was supposed to take an exam the next day. However, the next day after the fire alarm incident in the club, her mom lets her stay in jail for the entire night, or for the entire day / night. So she has to make up this exam. However, her mom actually sends her to this school for second-born royals, because apparently they have superpowers, because second-born royals in this universe carry a special gene inside of them that gives them some sort of power, some sort of superpower. For example, Sam has enhanced senses. She can see people from incredible distances. She can hear her own heartbeat and the flaps of a fly. She can smell. Oh, she smelled what her friend Mike had for lunch 2 days beforehand. Here in this class, we meet January, who is the second twin of a kingdom. Her twin brother is the heir, and she doesn't really like him that much because she says that he doesn't care about the kingdom just like she does, and she can borrow people's powers Mateo, who I don't remember his kingdom. Mateo can control insects. Tuma, another prince. He actually gets there. He actually has the power to like convince people. He just says something and people just follow orders. We have Roxana, who is actually like a frenemy that Sam has in her own school, because she is super self-absorbed. She does charity work just for views. And ironically, even though Roxana, who likes attention, her power is invisibility. We meet their teacher, who is James, and he is also a second-born royal, and he can multiply himself, and he's very funny. He's my favorite character out of all this. James is my favorite character. I think he's funny, he's witty, and he's very relatable. Like, he makes, you know, he's the cool teacher, you know. He's the cool teacher. He tries to help the kids and to like, help them understand their powers, and it's in a very clever way. He kind of like but at the same time he's like helping the kids understand their powers. He's also like kind of torturing them at the same time, so it's funny, it's cute, it's a very light-hearted movie to a certain degree. Then we actually see Samantha's mom coming in, and we find out that she's also a second-born royal. At this point in the movie, I didn't know she was a second-born royal. However, she is a second-born royal, and she is the leader of the society, and she tells them that not all of them will make the cut. Not all of them will make the cut. They have to try their best to succeed in these tasks. And at first, you know, we have the same, it's not exactly like a montage, but it's like a part montage, part talk through scenes where the kids are first failing and then they're succeeding until they succeed. And you know, and between all of these montages of how they're succeeding and trying to control their powers and all of that, we actually find that we find out who the villain is of this story. He is unnamed. He doesn't have a name. They just call him, I think it's inmate 34, I think it is. And we just know that he's very dangerous, and when Samantha's mom brings her down to like the society bat cave sort of thing, we see that there's a bunch of royals there's a bunch of frames of royals who were like the top of the society, and we see there's a black frame, and she says though we keep that as a reminder because somebody went rogue, and we have to, that's a reminder, it's a reminder that we have to keep our kingdom safe and all that. And I like this part a lot because it alludes that Prince Harry from England also has powers because his picture is in one of the frames, so I found that very cool and funny. I forgot to mention that the kingdom's name is Illyria, and it's like the smallest kingdom in Europe, I think it is. So the queen explains to, I don't remember her name, the queen explains to Sam that it's very important for them because they're the ones that actually, you know, keep the kingdom safe and keep the royals safe, and how her sister, who's the next queen of Illyria, Eleanor, her sister's name's Eleanor, cannot know anything because they work in secret. And she cannot tell anybody throughout this. She's making friends with January. She's kind of ignoring Mike because she can't tell him anything, and he's like, oh, but we have a gig. She doesn't show up for the gig, so he's very like he feels betrayed by her. Her father's dead, by the way. Her father's dead, and so is her uncle. Throughout this, she's ignoring Mike because she is busy trying to not have her memory or her powers wiped. And his dad is like, oh, royals are always going to do that because they are not like you. They have other lives. And Mike is very sad about all this. Throughout all this, her and Roxana, who had a very rocky relationship in school, actually become friends because Roxana only feels that she can only be validated as a person throughout her social media, which to me was kind of cliche. However, it is validated because there's a point in me that says, oh, it's kind of valid. It's kind of valid because, you know, they don't make, as what I understood from the movie is that they wanted to portray that second born royals don't get much attention compared to their older siblings, because they have the older siblings have to be trained to, you know, manage a country, while they don't, so they don't get as much attention. And that Roxana actually kind of resents that a little bit, and that's why she is so superficial, because she only feels that she gets validated throughout her social media. However, Sam, being so woke, tells her that's not right, and that I don't remember what she says, she just makes Roxana feel better, and that she shouldn't just care about social media. They become friends, all 5 of them become best friends throughout their journey in this academy. James sets them up to, he says like, oh, the queen's jewels are being stolen, so he sets them on this heist to trap these criminals who are trying to steal the queen's jewels. They fail, and he's very disappointing, and he's very disappointed in them, saying, oh, if that was a real mission, you would have failed. The jewels might have been stolen, it might have been sold on the black market. And he gives them the day off. They, instead of thinking what they did wrong, they decide to go to the beach and have just a fun day. When they were getting back, inmate 34 gets loose. He goes after Sam. Oh, he calls her a snowflake because it was very important. I forgot to mention this. Sam's father, the king, called her a snowflake because every snowflake was different. He knew that being a second-born royal to her was very hard, and he implanted his love of music to her. He called her snowflake. In this inmate 34, calls her snowflake, and this just like, you know, Mr. Crab meme, like, rallies her up. This disturbs her. She tells James, how did he know that? Only my father called me that. And she actually, when James tells them to go to their rooms and lock themselves up, she goes after this dude. This dude tries to hurt her. James tries to defend her. He knocks James out. She asks him, why, how do you know me? He's like, I was your favorite, well, before I was inmate 34, I was your favorite uncle. And this just keeps shocking the poor girl. You know, at this point she's like traumatized. January actually helps her. She takes his power away and they kind of defeat him. So after that, she goes to the secret society back with January, and she tells her the password to get in. But I think that was before the Edmund thing. But I think that was before the inmate 34 ring. But it's important. That's an important detail that I just forget. I'm sorry. So after they defeat him, he goes back to prison, and Sam's mom takes her because her sister is being coronated. I think coronated the next day, so they have to be all together. And there Sam has like this argument with her sister, because her sister says every time you you yell, take down the monarchy, you are going against everything I stand for. I'm trying to make this country a better place for our people. I'm trying to modernize it. And they have an argument. Sam leaves very pissed off. Before the fight with her sister, I forgot to mention, her mom and her she asked her mom to see her uncle, to see inmate 34. He tells her that he was his uncle, and that the reason he's in prison, and that the queen, I think her name was Elizabeth, but I don't remember, do not quote me on that, the queen, Sam's mom, faked his death was because Edmund, her uncle, actually killed her dad, the king, because he believed that he needed to make this mutiny, to do this mutiny in order to free the kingdom from royals. He needed to, well, exterminate the king first, and then the absolute monarchy would have dissolved and the kingdom would have, you know, democracy. So he killed his brother. And what Catherine, no, it's not Elizabeth. Sam's mom's name is Catherine. I'm sorry about that. Catherine, you know, trying to maintain the family's image and the royals and kingdom's image, well, she just faked his death with her brother in a plane accident. So people wouldn't lose faith in the royal family. Sam is very distraught because she says, how could you kill your own brother? And he said, and Edmund's response was like, it was for the major good, because the people deserve options and deserve decisions. And he says, we're not that different, you and me. He's very distraught. Then that's when she goes to her sister's room and they have that argument that I said before. After that, I think it was the coronation. We see coronation day. We see that Mateo, Tuma, Roxana, and January are invited to be in order to keep Sam company. However, here we find that January is actually helping Edmund because she wants to be the queen of her kingdom because she doesn't believe that her brother deserves it. So Edmund's gonna kill her brother for her because she can't do it, because that would make her a horrible person. So she traps Roxana, Mateo, and Tuma in Edmund's prison cell. She helps them escape. They turn off all security measures so Catherine can't stop them. Mateo sends an incense to Sam in order to like tell her that Edmund escaped. She goes to Mike and she tells Mike the truth, and he helps her with her plan. I think they get January. Yeah, they knock out January, her, Sam, and Mike, and then free the other three. And they make this plot because Edmund is going to... The Secret Society actually keeps a lot of the weapons that they confiscate from, like, evil villains. And one of them is a gene suppressor, I think it was, that exterminates the selected gene. So Edmund is going to use that on the firstborn royals or anybody that's royalty that are inside the royal coronation hall or something, or whatever it's called. And when Sam confronts him, he's like, this is the only way all those kingdoms will have choices and will have choices and will actually be free. So, you know, her mom and her sister are about to die, so she doesn't want that. She gets the help from the other three and Mike's help. She takes the weapon away from Edmund and she hides it with Mike. It was like Mike was in the roof, Edmund's in the middle of the room, and Sam was in the corner. So she escapes because even though, since Mike is not a royal, the gene suppressor isn't gonna hurt him. So Sam leaves the room, Edmund gets trapped, and that's how they save the kingdom. Now January escapes, and so she sends them a signal. I don't remember what it was, so they have to go after her, and it ends with James and Catherine saying like that is the best class of second-born royals that he has trained. So they have to go with no previous like flight classes. They're put to flight a jet, so, and find January, which was like alarming to say the least. My overall thoughts about the movie, I actually I really like the movie. I like that it is a more mature movie. Like, for example, like High School Musical, Camp Rock, you know, kids that were in elementary school, middle school, and even high school could enjoy that movie. However, here you actually find that they are more mature. They are much more mature themes. For example, decisions, democracy, terrorism, because Edmund is going to straight up kill all those people in that coronation hall just so kingdoms can have choices, like the people of the kingdoms could have choices. That's terrorism right there. Besides saying, oh, you shouldn't do that because it's wrong to take people's lives, you don't have the power to do that. Besides that, they don't really go into like full-on conversation about why it's wrong and why is it terrorism. But you know, it's also a kids movie. For a kids movie, I would say that it does bring to light and sheds light on heavier subjects. I think overall it's very lighthearted. It's fun, it's adventurous. I really like that it was not a musical. That is the type of movie that should not be a musical. I don't think Disney released this and planned, oh, this is gonna be our next High School Musical or Camp Rock or even Descendants. Like Descendants had way more hype than this movie had. Also, this movie was released during a pandemic, like a worldwide pandemic, and I think it was one of the first Disney Plus original movies, but I think they could definitely have hyped it up more. They can make a lot of merch with this for an older generation. This movie is definitely for an older audience, I would say. I think a child would be, an elementary school kid would definitely be kind of bored with this. However, it does have adventure. It does talk about, like, even if you're like a second born royal or people don't pay much attention to you, you are special, you are a snowflake, you are different in your own way. And I think I like that message. I think it was sweet. It's a kids movie, you know, it's a kids movie. Even kids deserve good media, and I think this is the type of good media, or on its way to being good media for children. It, you know, it lands on heavy subjects that are not explained to like graphic detail, but you know, they are presented in order to start a conversation. It brings adventure, it brings friendship into this. It shows light into toxic relationships and like healthy relationships with your parents and family members and siblings. So I think it was very, very cute, very nice, very adventurous, and I would overall say it was endearing. So I would recommend it, even if you're an adult. If you like Disney as much as I do, like I have a High School Musical shirt on right now, I would definitely recommend it. I really think you should watch it. So this is Maraya. This is my dog. This is my doggy. But this is how I look. I hope you like this video. I hope you guys like this video. Follow me on my socials, which are right here. And I promise to be more active. I really do. I hope you guys like this review / I don't know, storytelling of the movie. I hope you guys liked it, and see you next time.